So, next up, we are delighted to welcome Serena Shih from Google Play. Good morning, Serena.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Fantastic. And where are you joining us from?
I'm joining in from Berlin,
Oh,
rainy
wonderful.
Berlin.
I've only been once, but it's a heck of a place. Absolutely astonishing city. So thank you for joining us. And this morning we're going to be looking at what's new in mobile game for the mobile game developers at Google Play. Is that correct?
That is correct. So I'm going to be giving a quick recap of what we've already shared at I/O and also for our recent events.
Wonderful stuff. Well, in your own time, take it away, and I'll be back to join you at the end.
Perfect. Thank you. So again, hi everyone. I'm Serena Shih, a strategic partner manager on the Google Play partnerships team. I work with game developers and publishers to help them grow their businesses on the Google Play platform. So over the years, we've strived to maintain Android's flexibility and compatibility. And at Google Play, we've aspired to become the best destination to find apps, games, and digital content that bring these Android devices to life. With this in mind, Android and Play have been able to create untold opportunities for millions of developers who have built thriving businesses and innovated on the mobile platform. Thanks to the work of you and other developers, Google Play has become a more valuable resource for people around the world. Last year, we saw Android and Play reach new heights amidst a pandemic and people playing more games safely at home. Today, we can share that Android has reached 3 billion monthly active devices and Play has grown to 2.5 billion monthly active users. In fact, last year, Google Play drove 140 billion installations worldwide, providing 300 local forms of payment, 180 carrier billing options, and our gift cards now are sold in 1 million unique retail locations worldwide. It is worth calling out that there is a collection of countries with remarkable growth, namely Brazil, Russia, India, Indonesia, and Mexico. And in these regions, we've seen impressive growth with some unique behaviors. For example, they are over-indexing on regional sports games, first-person shooters, and MOBAs, and while under-indexing on match 3 and build and battle style games. Now, with a host of new Android devices, these behaviors are driving up game spend year over year in these regions, some 70% higher than the global average. So these countries matter more than ever to our game developers. If you have something that is similar to what I've already mentioned as your game type, definitely look to tailoring your content to these regions, like through your store listing, live op events, or developing regional pricing strategies for in-game items. As a whole, we're incredibly humbled by the growth and to be a platform that helps you achieve your game's vision and pursue success with your audience. So to continue this growth, we've been working on more ways to help businesses on the platform. To start, we actually just wrapped up this year's Indie Games Festival, one of the two long-standing programs helping indie game developers grow on Google Play. The festival provides promotional opportunities for top quality indie titles, and we're excited to have expanded the program in Europe, Japan, and South Korea. Another is the Indie Game Accelerator, which we've also just kicked off this year, providing mentorship and education to help early stage startups set up for successful launches and growth. And this year, we expanded the program to more than 70 countries. So to learn more about both of these programs and other resources specifically for indie game developers, please visit the link that is shown here on the screen. Now, in addition to indie game developer initiatives, helping developers to build sustainable businesses is also a very core part of Google Play's mission. We do that by providing powerful growth tools on the Google Play console, access to exclusive insights and engagement programs, and also a robust commerce platform, to name a few. We're always looking for new ways to help our developers to give them an extra boost. So for example, this year, we announced an important change to help you scale your business starting July 1st. So we've reduced the service fee Google Play receives when you sell digital goods or services to 15% for the first $1 million of revenue that you earn each year. This reduced fee is now available to every Play developer, regardless of the size, from startups to partners who are already on a self-sustaining path. We know that some developers operate multiple accounts for their app portfolio, so please note that this discount will be applied to a developer's total earnings for the year across of all of the accounts that you use to publish your apps. So if you haven't already had a chance to visit the page in this tab in your Play console, definitely take a look at this. You can now start entering these details on Play console and you'll see the 15% fee applied once you completed the enrollment. So definitely check out the Help Center for more details about the enrollment process and also the enrollment details. Now let's take a look at some other new features that are now available to help drive more installs and grow your engagement and revenue. To start, every successful business is built on a foundation of user trust. So to help you build that trust, we've continued to improve our policies to make sure that the ecosystem is safe for everyone. Now, because our platform policies are constantly evolving and updating, we want to keep you up to date with the latest requirements. So we've definitely heard from you and our other developers that it's very important for you guys to have a central place for violation and enforcement, and to have more guidance on how to actually fix the policy issues, and also to have more advanced notice about the deadlines that are coming up. So we spent the last year building a new dedicated policy and program section in the Play console to help you with a more centralized place to see any policy compliance concerns. And you're able to see guidance on how to fix the policy issues and information on the upcoming policy changes that we're making. This page will also show you if there are any enforcement against your apps, such as rejection, removal, or suspension. In addition to that, you'll be able to see more details and guidance regarding the specific policy violations. So for example, if there is a policy issue with your store listing, we'll be able to point out the specific text or image that needs to be fixed. We've also recently added the ability to appeal an enforcement decision and be able to track the status directly from this page here. So we also understand that not all of the policy violations are caused by your code, and sometimes they can be actually caused by a third-party SDK. So while the SDKs do play a tremendous role in our ecosystem, they can add a number of challenges from performance to stability and security. SDK developers do want to help, but they have little visibility on how and when their SDK causes instability, and they might not always have the scaled ways to inform their customers about major updates to fix major issues. So what we've done is that we've established a direct relationship with our SDK providers to help them build better and safer SDKs, while also improving our guidance to SDK choices for our app developers. So we also took the first step last year with the EAP launch of the Google Play SDK console. We've already onboarded several large SDK providers to early access program and plan on expanding to more SDK developers out there. So with the new console, SDK developers can now report issues with previous versions and see useful stats and gain visibility with crash reporting at the SDK level. And as an app developer, Play will now also be able to give you more guidance on the latest SDK updates, as well as warnings about unsupported or non-compliant versions, or those with potential policy violations. The goal here is to improve SDKs over time, and therefore apps that use them. To learn more, definitely check out our talk on YouTube. We have an Android developer page on YouTube that, and go ahead and search for new tools to help build safer apps on Google Play. Other than that, we're continuing to invest in Play's core developer value proposition, helping you distribute your apps and games to millions of users, which is why we've developed the Android App Bundle. By delivering smaller apps and streamlining the release process, app bundles have been a foundational step forward for Google Play. There are now over 1 million apps in production with the Android App Bundle, helping developers decrease their app size by an average of 15% compared to using in a universal APK. It's also just a simpler and more streamlined way to release your apps. So app bundles are the future of publishing with Google Play, which is why they are required for all new apps published on Google Play starting August 1st this year. The Android App Bundle makes next generation of distribution features possible. Play feature delivery, which now powers a third of all of Play Store's download requests, helps shrink app size by allowing them to download only the code and resource that they need to run your app. It also makes Play asset delivery possible, which replaces expansion files and allows games to cut delivery costs and dramatically reduce user wait time. Games using Play Asset Delivery can use texture compression format targeting, so your users are only getting the assets available to their device with no wasted space or bandwidth. In response to developer feedback that we've received, we're also launching an optional code transparency feature for app bundles to give users cryptographic assurance that your app's code has not been modified from its original version. Next, we're really excited to share new development to what you can do with data on the Google Play console. So successful apps don't necessarily have the most installs, but they do have active and engaged users. So engagement metrics help tell the story of what happens when the users install your app and before they churn. Knowing these trends can help you find patterns to prioritize feature development and make strategic business decisions. So we've put together a great new set of tools to help you give more context to the data you see. We've taken the best of our ecosystem data and contextualized the engagement performance against your key markets. So these are the new engagement metrics that are now available on Play Console against your benchmark comparisons. You can find this in the stats page under Compare to Peers, which is our new area for metrics that are designed specifically to help you understand how your app is performing relative to similar apps. The new Compare to Peers tab also contains key monetization metrics to help you determine opportunities to increase the number of users who purchase and also to increase the amount that they are spending with you in your game. With 15 new metrics and performance data from up to 250 different peer sets across 200 countries and territories, Console provides up to 2 million new data points a day to help you evaluate your performance. We make it easy to access, use, and understand all of this data via a simple interface on the Compare to Peers tab on the stats page. So if you're now someone who is regularly toying around with the Play Console, I would definitely recommend checking out all of the new peer data that we're now providing. We've also made some new updates to how you can make money on Play. So our investment in Play Commerce are focused on helping you grow your businesses in 3 ways: by increasing your ability to access customers around the world and giving you the tools to help you optimize your go-to-market approach and to support your efforts to engage and retain your customers on Play. Our commerce platform now helps over 2 billion people have access to more than 300 local payment methods in over 70 countries and helps international cards in over 150 countries around the world. In the last year alone, we added 34 new local forms of payment across 30 markets and lowered the minimum price developers can set for paid apps in our purchases and subscriptions in an additional of 20 markets. So to help you optimize the way that you sell, we're also excited to launch 2 new capabilities for more streamlined purchasing. One is our multi-quantity purchases, which enable users to buy more than 1 item at a time from the cart. And second is the multi-line subscription that allows you to sell multiple products as a part of a single subscription. We're also excited to launch the prepaid plans, which allows you to offer users access to content for a fixed amount of time. Users can easily extend their access period anytime prior to or after the plan expires. To take full advantage of all of these new features, as well as the rest of the monetization features that Play has to offer, you will need to integrate with the Play Billing Library version 4.0. As a reminder, at I/O 2019, we announced a 2-year support window for each major version of the Play Billing Library. This means that billing integration support for AIDL and billing library versions 1 and 2 will stop at the end of this year. You can learn more regarding the policies and the details from the website I'm showing here. To learn more about the recent changes we've made to our commerce platform, please, again, go to our Android developer page on YouTube to check for Grow Your Engagement and Monetization on Google Play. So just over a year ago, we launched the Google Play Pass as another way to complement your monetization strategy, giving users access to hundreds of great apps and games without ads or IAPs. Play Pass has now expanded to over 40 markets, and more than 800 games and apps and developers have on average more than doubled their Play revenue across participating titles in these markets. You can learn more and express interest in joining by visiting the link that is displayed here. In 2018, we also launched the Google Play Points program to help increase engagement for your apps and games. It's free for users to join, and members earn points on almost everything that they buy on Google Play. Users can then exchange these points for special and exclusive content in the top games. Play Points is now growing rapidly in 22 countries, including Australia, Germany, Norway, and Italy, with plans on expanding even further. So more than 60% of the top game companies and over 150 developers are now active in the program. And soon we'll be launching developer-initiated points campaigns directly available in the Play console. With so many great resources available, we definitely want to make sure that you know how to make the most of them. So we built a comprehensive website with resources to help you learn more about the policies, program, and tools. Definitely be sure to poke around on the Play Console itself and also to visit this link just to see all the new updates that we've made. So finally, whether you're about to launch your new startup or grow your existing business on Play, the Google Play Academy has a wealth of relevant courses to help. So definitely make sure to check those out as well. I hope you've seen something new here that you find exciting. And as a platform, Google Play does not succeed unless our partners like you succeed. So we definitely look forward to see more businesses scale to new heights and to have more further conversations with you and our developer community about more ways on how we can help you. Thank you for your time.
That was phenomenal. Thank you, Serena. Wow. If anyone was expecting day 3 of the seminar was going to sort of dip a little, go into something of a smooth kind of day, that was a huge amount of valuable information. It was incredible. The questions have been going crazy over here, so I'm just going to jump in and start asking questions from the audience, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure. I'm reading the questions as I go too. Great. These are great questions.
Yeah, there's some fabulous ones. So first of all, do you provide support for console developers who are looking to expand into mobile? And do you have any advice for any studios looking to make that transition?
I think personally that has been something that I have a very big passion on, because actually I come from the Play China team. So there's a lot of developers that are making that transition to console. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the technical things and technical details that I've actually just shared today are designed to help high fidelity games. So being able to streamline and being able to make sure that your APK is smaller, your game sizes are smaller. These are all new tools that definitely take a look at to see how that applies to your game, and see if you can let us know, like whether it's through these events or through support, just to let us know what kind of issues in addition that you're looking into or you're seeing. So if I can just completely oversimplify all of the issues that a console developer would go through when launching on Android, one is that they have to distribute to multiple devices for compatibility, which is now something that you can more clearly see on our Play Console based on the different Android device compatibility. And also another thing is to say that, well, the game size is too small, which are the two Android bundles and Play Asset Delivery and Play Feature Delivery that we pushed out to help this problem. Another is also pricing. So we have now multiple pricing available. So the two new pricing strategies that we're pushing out that should be live soon, and also for subscription and Play Pass, and also ways to help you better transition to an IAP model.
Fantastic, thank you. Just jumping straight ahead. So we have a question here from an indie developer asking if there are any funding programs he or she could apply for to get involved with Google Play.
So definitely, so we actually just wrapped up, but definitely take a look at, let me flip directly to that page, because this is something that we are very, very passionate about, helping smaller developers. And it will be a great opportunity. I just realized how many slides I have. It's definitely a very good opportunity to sign up for these indie events. So one is that the Indie Game Festival will provide you UA spend if you do win. So there's a very big process about filtering all the submissions that we receive from around the world. And then the ultimate winners will get promotional opportunity on the platform, in addition to a pretty busty fund for UA. Other than that is the Indie Games Accelerator. So this is also something that you can actually sign up. So these are, we basically recruited both inside of Google, but more importantly, I think outside of Google, external professionals who are there to either do one-on-one sessions with you or actually do like classes, master classes to help you. So for indie developers out here, definitely take a look at the opportunities that we have to offer.
Wonderful. And one from another developer out there asking, on Google, are there certain game types and genres that you notice are more popular? I think perhaps trying to get a jump on the competition here.
More popular, I think this is, We get this question a lot, but this is definitely something that we learn hand in hand with our developers, because every time that we feel that we can actually conclude on a trend that is coming up, another developer or a handful of developer will surprise us with a completely new trend that we need to catch on to.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't so far to say, what are some popular games, because there are just so many, but I can kind of remark on the trend that we're seeing is that genre mashing trend. I think that is something that is a given that's been around in the industry for a few years now, but this is now becoming more of a norm that we're seeing. But in addition to that, I think what I've seen as the most successful thing to do for a developer is to really know your audience and know what you want to cater to, right? So if you want to actually cater to, let's say, a Japanese audience, definitely make sure that you have the DNA of the Japanese audience inside of the game, right? So as long as you have that set, that will create more of a popularity rather than jumping onto a trend that maybe you're not so familiar with.
And I think that that's really valuable advice in general. The mobile market and the play market is so vast that there are niches out there for almost anything, but people are looking for that engagement. It's authenticity, So finding something that you're passionate about, I think, is absolutely great advice. So thank you for that. And going in a slightly different direction, we have another question. Do you have any advice for designing games for children? And how can we distribute these effectively? And this is particularly relevant to us in the UK, where we have the new age-appropriate design code coming in, which has fairly strict limitations on how you gather data and what options you can have within a game aimed at the under 18s.
Data has been a huge topic for sure. I think a lot of people would probably really like to ask about that. But we actually have been trying to perfect more and more our design for families guidelines. So definitely take a look at our design for families. So if you actually take a look at all the guidelines with regards to the advertisement that is able to be shown, and also the type of games and type of restrictions for that, I would definitely take a look. And monetization strategy is also very important. So whether you want to actually cap it at a premium game or a freemium game, these are also some things to consider. So if you're able to kind of poke around with our store, we will start to have more and more kind of designated places for families, just to ease the navigation for a parent to look for the correct game. But at the same time, definitely look to our guidelines that will show you more specifics on what to look out for when designing for a family.
I think that's incredibly important, because from what I'm taking away from your presentation this morning is it's a complete ecosystem. It's not just here is a distribution platform, go nuts. You guys are providing the tools, you're providing the infrastructure. You really, as you said quite early on, it's all about creating that sustainability and creating that marketplace where you can engage effectively with your players and create that level of trust. So following on from that, one of the questions, I know how this is going to sound, but they're asking, given some of the changes that we've seen in the Apple App Store, should people be preparing for Google to do anything remotely similar?
I think one of the things is that, again, like privacy is a very, very, very major topic for us. And I think just looking back to our history, right? So developing user trust, making sure that your apps is safe, and making sure that we're adhering to the government guidelines and what is safe for all of our users abroad. I think that would be kind of a thing to go on in terms of how we're dealing with the recent changes that are coming on with our governments.
Fantastic, thank you. And one question from me is, are you seeing many changes in the types of monetization out there? Are you seeing people, is it still in-app purchases? Is it now more incentivized adverts? Or are we seeing more subscriptions? You mentioned subscriptions, and quite sophisticated subscriptions, which can allow multiple content deals within a single payment. Are people taking advantage of this? Are they really starting to sort of play with the new opportunities?
I'm just gonna go on like a personal rant here, but actually, this is the best for these kind of events, right? But I think we offer a lot of different ways of payment. We offer a lot of different capabilities on our console, but not all of our developers actually use them, which is why I think if there's one single takeaway from here is definitely poke around on our Play console to take advantage of all the things that we've actually built. Because a lot of times we hear all the questions regarding, can you actually do this? Can you do that? This will really help us, and then we'll build it in. But not a lot of people actually take a look at the new tools that we have. But to answer your question, IAP is definitely still very big, but we also see a very good mix of hybrid monetization, so ad monetization as well. I think one of the interesting phenomenon that I'm actually seeing is that in the past it was more separated. So there's IAPs and there's also ad monetization, and then it became more of, okay, casual games. Let's see how casual game developers can actually push to more of an IAP model to make it sustainable and making hybrid monetization like that. Now it's more like, okay, a mid-core to hardcore game, perhaps, they're also now testing out ad monetization because now they're reaching out to the emerging markets, or in another way, like audience right now are just more familiar with ad monetization. So there's less of a fighting against this mode of payment. But in addition to that, battle passes is also getting very, very popular. Subscription, in addition to IAPs, is also getting very popular. And of course, there are additional monetization methods are coming on as well.
That's fantastic. I come from a development background, and I know only too well that developers can be so kind of inward looking. They're focused entirely on the game, the mechanics, the controls, the progression, that they fail to look at how they plug it into the ecosystem that they're putting the game out on, and where it's going to be seen and how it's going to be engaged with. There's an old acronym from the early days of the internet, which was RTFM, which basically means read the manual. So I think that's going to be incredibly valuable advice. We're nearly out of time. I think we've got time for another couple of questions. So one question from our audience is about VR. Do you see this entering the Google mobile market in the near future?
That's a tough question, and I think what I can probably blanketly state is that we've had made strides on our hardware, so being able to make that compatible. And I think one of the ways that we do want to make sure that we're encompassing is cross-platform support. So as what we've already shared previously with our Stadia products, a lot of things is maybe our next step would just be making sure that we're ahead of the game for how we can best make our players be able to access different games in different platforms. If that means VR or not, I think that would be something that we'll be considering for the near future.
Fantastic. Well, it's going to be a bright and clear future. We have one final question, which is about a support issue. So one developer is having issues, but I think it's so specific. Maybe that's something we can pick up on Discord or on another channel, just so we're not taking tech support in the session. Serena, that has been incredibly valuable, a hugely useful insight into where Google Play is and where it's going and how people can engage with you better. So thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. We really appreciate you coming along, getting involved and telling everybody out there exactly what Google Play is all about. So we look forward to hearing from you again at some point in the near future.
Thanks so much for hosting, Brian. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much indeed.